Players Pick Podcast, Picks and Perspective with Chris Johnson.
Episode 25 with Al Joseph of Hyvmine. He's a great singer, an incredible songwriter, and a shreddy guitar player. You should check out his music on the Players Pick Podcast playlist on Spotify. You are a Petrucci fan too.
I'm a big Petrucci
So
fan.
it's not no
right.
surprise to me, really.
Yeah.
What's
cool.
That's here? Scoot up on that mic just a little bit, so
Okay.
you get like right in there.
Nice.
Is that
okay.
good? You can hear yourself a little better.
Yeah.
Well, what was your first memory of a guitar pick? Where did it start? Like, do you
Guitar
remember
pick.
like who gave you your first guitar pick when you first started playing,
man.
or which one, what color it was, or what type it was? Or?
I never had a pick moment until I started using acrylic picks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I was using back in the day. I was getting more into John Petrucci. I was using those Tortex, those normal like yellow. I remember the yellow ones.
Yeah.
And then I remember after a while I started practicing more, and I realized that kind of wasn't for me. So I started to use the Sharps.
Whoa.
Yeah, the white Sharps. I forget what
The super sharp?
The
Like-
super sharp ones.
Like that Jeff Loomis one there, that black one. Kind of? Like
Yes, exactly. Like,
Okay.
Yeah, this one, and then it was the white one, I believe. I don't know. I tried a bunch of different colors, and then I realized that maybe the tip is a little too long. Mm-hmm. And then after that, YouTube started becoming more of a thing, and then John Petrucci was talking about his Jazz 3s.
Totally.
So I started to use those. Actually, that I would say that's the pick that really made me think about picks. Like, okay, I need this.
Yeah.
And then there you go.
So started off with like Tortex yellow, probably in the very beginning. You think,
Right.
Just a standard looking pick.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And
yeah.
then you kind of tried the Tortex Sharp, which was way overdone, maybe.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then Petrucci was like, no, the sweet spot's right here.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you kind of followed him for a bit until you got the acrylics.
And then I tried to. I don't know. I saw the website and I was like, yo, that looks sick. Like a clear pick, like that's badass. So I tried it out and it was like you said, acclimating to it. It was perfect. It was just like that's exactly what I needed. And the material, I don't know what, because there's different acrylic picks out there. I like to believe I can feel the difference, and I feel like the V picks at the time were kind of like, oh man, this is some quality stuff. I don't know, the thickness, everything. So it was perfect. And then I went on to try the gravity picks, and I liked what he was doing with the unpolished edges and all that kind
That
of stuff.
scratchy edge is really unique.
It's really unique.
Yeah, you sent me a couple of those. I got them here, and I remember you sending them. I was like, man, I don't know how Al play. I mean, he's such a good player. There's got to be something to this.
Yeah,
because I couldn't acclimate to it.
Oh, really?
I kept putting it. I go, this is an interesting pick, and I like what I think they're trying to do here, which is you have like a really stiff pick that allows for exacting quality. It's thick and has a really nice, cool bevel. Because oftentimes, and as you can probably attest to, because you're now on the JP Flows, which is a smooth bevel.
Right.
It doesn't have that raspy.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times that's what what it feels like. A lot of the newer acrylic picks are trying to do is have that stiff thing, but go opposite of what you would normally do, which would make a smooth bevel that doesn't give you a whole lot of drag,
Right.
So you can get more crunch out of it, I guess. And
I have no idea, honestly. Like, I don't hear the difference. Like, if I go back to recordings, using like a lot of high gain, I don't hear too much of a difference. I think it's more of like a feeling thing. I forget the word for that, but you know what I mean. Like that the feeling of that, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
with that unsharp, that unpolished edge.
yeah.
Yeah, and then I don't know what made me get into the flows originally. I mean, I saw the promo video and all that kind of stuff, but I forget at what time.
Did you just come by our booth at NAMM or something? I just gave you some, or no?
Maybe I don't
Or
know,
did I send
man.
them?
Or maybe somebody had one, or I don't know. I was just, for whatever reason, I was interested in it, and then I had tried. I think you had sent some, and then, you sent the bigger ones,
Probably.
and then I was like, well, the bigger ones, okay, that's cool. I can rock with that. Feels good. Slides right off the string. I actually kind of like that. And then I saw the John Petrucci thing, and I saw that they were a little bit smaller, so I was like, okay, well, Jazz 3.
Yep.
And then the flow together, that's sick. So I tried them, and it was perfect, man. Can't
Yeah,
stop
dude.
using these, man.
Yeah. Word is that he's working on yet another pick.
Of course he is.
But but I think John might be the dude. As we've come to expect with his guitars,
Yeah.
and like where there's like 3 new ones every year. Sometime he might be the world leader in signature guitar picks
Hey.
at this point.
If I were him, I'd do the same thing.
It's cool with me. It's fine. Because he usually gravitates towards really interesting things, so it's hard to fault him for any of that.
Yeah.
And so it's been at least a year, almost 2 years or something now. Like you've been playing the flows.
The flows. Yeah.
Was it
Right,
last NAMM or the year? It was
I want to
NAMM
say
before.
maybe the one before.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it might be 2 years, coming up on 2 years now.
Okay.
Yeah. They've been out that long, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the when we dropped them was not this NAMM but the NAMM before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Word.
2018.
Cool. Yeah, man. They're sweet.
Yeah.
I want to make one of my own.
Yeah,
maybe,
dude.
maybe a blue one with the Hyvmine logo.
With the
on it.
logo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be
Let's do
sick.
that.
Yeah, I'm
I don't
down.
see why not.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody else is doing it. I got some up there from Dan Sugarman. He's got some
hell
for his
yeah.
Ice 9 Kills. He's
Oh,
got,
sick.
they're I think the flat ones without the grip that are like Petrucci and like Andy James though, they only come in black and smoke gray. So
Black
we
and
might
smoke
want
gray.
to do use like a smoke gray pick with a blue foil or something.
Yeah.
And do your logo. We could do something like
Yeah, hell
sort
yeah.
that out. That'd be cool.
Sick.
Yeah. Well, and tell us, I know we were talking a little bit before we got on here, but catch us up. What's going on with Hyvmine?
Well, right now we're just trying to get our shit together. That's you know what I mean? It's like it's so unbelievably hard out there. It really is. And that doesn't intimidate us at all.
Sure.
But we do understand the importance of preparation, and honestly, within the band there's nothing but optimism, and just like, if anything, the frustration right now is coming from just wanting to do more. And right now I'm working on the website. I'm trying to drive more traffic there and get more people to come in and see us through Skype, and maybe jumping on Twitch. I was talking to a buddy about that last night, about starting a podcast, getting on Twitch, getting people involved, because it's all about the internet right now,
Right.
where everybody's attention is, and hopefully making more moves to kind of get out there, play more. We want to play up the East Coast, play in San Diego, play here, San Francisco, like anywhere we can play here, and kind of just build the band's name and our base here, like as an LA band. And so, new music, we want to start releasing singles from now on, that kind of thing, and really testing the boundaries there with our music creatively, and just seeing what comes of that, before we come out with another record.
So kind of in a regrouping phase.
Yeah,
in
we're
a little bit.
regrouping. Yeah.
Got it. Because you got a couple new members too.
Yeah.
And so new guitar player.
Yeah, Andy Frederick from Buffalo, New York.
Cool.
Crazy mofo, that dude, and he's an exceptional guitar player and great friend of mine. And Yaz Nomura, same thing. These guys have been, even before Hyvmine started, these guys have been friends of mine.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's a perfect match.
Is your brother coming back? Or
Chris will be back.
Yeah?
Yeah, he'll be back. He's just right now he's recovering and getting healthy and back home with the folks. So yeah,
Good.
they're taking care of him.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to that for
Hell
sure.
yeah.
And so have you started writing for another record, or are you kind of like just, or you just got a couple of songs, or where are you at?
Yeah,
with
like
that?
we've got 3 songs already
Mm-hmm.
right now, and they're actually, Andy, he's not just a great guitar player, he's a great songwriter.
Awesome.
Really great songwriter.
You need that. We all need that.
We need that.
Yeah.
And right now, as far as writing another record, we're in such a experimental phase because we just don't know, what. There's so much music out there. We don't know what people want yet, and I don't. Personally, I would not like to wait until another record to be like, okay, here's another 11 songs. Do you like these? I would like to, hit people again and again and get out in front of people more. So we want to start releasing singles and putting together packages for people.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so we can. I feel like if it's one song, we can focus more on the mix. We can focus more on just all the intricate, all the details a little bit more, and so the quality of the attention going into the creative work. I'm excited for that. And I'm also excited for the fact that we can also take that time and work on the content around it and just be more tactical and more like,
right. And it
impactful.
sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you're also hoping that as you release the single, that you see how it's received. And maybe if there's something that kind of catches fire, that you're able to like, oh, maybe this is the direction that we take the next batch of songs in, or something like
Right.
that, like with that feedback.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. And I don't. Let's say we have a song that just goes viral, right? Then we go, okay, do we want to do a music video behind that? Of course. Okay, cool. That kind of thing. But for me, there's all different nuances. There's people who are fans of different songs for different reasons. So I want to interact with them too. You know what I mean? Like, I want to cover this whole thing. And even if it takes a year, whatever. I mean, it's the internet now, I feel like we've got time. We don't have to, kind of force a whole record down people's throat now.
True.
We can back off the gas a little bit.
It's interesting times, like all around, because there's so many people that have turned and worked towards the single kind of model. Where like, hey, like they're doing exactly what you're kind of outlining,
right?
Whether it be pop or rock or whatever the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of that. And remember, I don't know if you remember, but like I remember in the 80s and 90s, like they sold single cassette tapes. I don't know how old you are, but, but like I was alive to remember that, and right. It was like one of those things where you'd put the single out, and then like you can put that anywhere, wherever you like. But you would put that in a place that you put the single out, and then you didn't really necessarily know whether or not you were going to get something good for the whole album. And so it was like you put a lot of emphasis on one thing,
right?
And then it's different times because they were just shooting for a single every time, right? Like and kind of like this thing. But now it's you don't have to put the album out,
right?
You can wait and you can build the thing. But putting a full album out also is like this musician's dream, like if they've got the thing to say, like if Dream Theater has got, which they're classic for always putting out a full masterpiece record, right? So if you unless you have the thing to say, then why try to force yourself to say something that isn't cohesive?
That's the thing,
right?
It's been like it's been kind of I don't want to say incongruent, but when you're 30 and you've been through college and you've got a name for yourself and you're like, okay, now let's start a band, that's what you're doing there is it's a great thing, but you're also opening a jar of worms because, again, everyone has to, if I were back in high school, where I didn't have to pay rent and all this stuff, and I can hang out with my friends and we can share our dreams, and we've got that like young kind of like naivety, you know, then okay, then it's like that energy kind of builds into like, okay, we're Slipknot, or you know what I mean? But you know, we're starting a band from here, and so you know, that's what I'm looking for. It's like that's why these guys, because they're friends of mine. You know, we hang, we vibe together, and then you know, they've got the musicianship that's way up there, and then all that stuff's out of the way. When you go out there and play, you got to put on a show. You know, I don't personally, I know there's a lot of bands out there right now that are really, you know, high level, and that's great, and that's caught on. But for me, I want to put on a show. Mm-hmm. So if I want to put on a show, I got to get up there with my gang.
Totally.
Right? Like, you know, and so that's, yeah. So when it comes to an album, you know, as we're talking about, it's like, yeah, we got to figure out what we want to say together, and I think that's happening over time. But I'm a very process type of oriented guy, and I'm very patient, and I just want there to be something there that's like solid, that there's just like no apprehension to like push this thing, something where, you know, these guys, if they've involved themselves in any way, I can push them and be like, okay, let's push this, let's get this out there. I want them excited about it, right? So right now it's in a situation where, you know, I've written the songs. You know what I mean? Which is great. You know, they love the songs and stuff, and it's cool.
Sure.
But I want to write music with these guys and, like, you know, see what happens then.
Let that chemistry congeal.
Yeah.
And see what comes out of that.
For sure.
Yeah. There's something. I mean, in most situations, when a group that already vibes with each other can kind of help each other get out of each other's own way.
Yeah.
And then and like allow for you know, good feedback on what has been brought to the table, and let the thing kind of just come into a stew, and it turns into the thing that we created versus this one's my song,
right?
And you know,
exactly.
like all my songs kind of have the signature flair because this is my song.
Yeah.
And then like when he writes a song, like it's cool, but like you can always tell it's his song because it's got his. But
right.
Where
right.
you know, you there's some albums and some bands that you can like pick those things out.
Exactly.
And you're like, wow, like dude, when the drummer like throws his thing down, like we all know that he wants to do, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
And that can work too, but
I
think what we want is, you know, we were sitting down one night, you know, over at Andy's place, you know, just drinking, having a beer, you know, and listening to Deftones and like Creed and like, you know, like all these bands from the 90s, well, the early 2000s.
Sure.
And we're just like, dude, you know, why do we love this stuff so much? Well, it's like this band you can tell they got in the rehearsal room, they riffed out these riffs, and they put this together as a band.
Yeah,
in
person.
In person.
Which is a lost thing for a lot of people these days.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's almost impossible to pay band rent on top of your own rent.
Of course.
And for most people in a living in an LA type of environment, they got 3 different hustles. And so actually showing up to band practice more than twice a week, like that can be a really tough challenge to get people. It can
be, you know.
Doesn't mean that doesn't happen. I know it does,
right.
but getting people in a room to write.
Oh yeah,
you know,
just to focus on that when they've got rent, and you know, a lot of the musicians, for example, you know, a lot of the musicians around here, right? They either went to MI, I went to Berkeley, so I know that vibe, right? Like everybody's trying to get paid playing for someone else. So the moment you're just like, okay, we're gonna play for ourselves. We're not going to pay ourselves. I guess we're going to go to work, you know what I mean? And then get together. It's not necessarily unpaid, but it's just a different type of investment of your time. And, you know, explaining that is a very hard thing to do when you're looking for band members. You know?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you want to come over and write some music with us 4 or 5 days a week? No, there's no payment for that. In fact, you have to pay your part of rent
pretty much
on where we're practicing.
Yeah.
And you have to get yourself to and from.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's 3-4 hours per session. You know, otherwise, like, for most people, because by the time you get there and you're got 2 hours goes in no time. Like
exactly,
it's almost over. You might get somewhere in 3 or 4 hours on 1 or 2 tunes, you know. But depending on how well you guys work together.
Yeah, and I do my best to master the system of that. I think it can be done. You know, I think what I would say most musicians should educate themselves more on is a system. If there's one thing I'm good at, I can pump out a song in a day. You know,
dope.
And yeah, day and a half or whatever, and Andy can too. You know, and Yaz, Yaz is like he's that technical, like, just like assassin. I always refer to him as a samurai assassin. He's like, he can bring that technicality and kind of, because, again, Andy and I are like from that era where like music is just like, that new metal sound. I don't want to call it new metal, but, that Deftones kind of vibe.
Totally.
And so we're okay just riffing, staying on one thing, honestly. I mean, I know I'm a technical player, but I kind of fell into that. I'm really kind of like that guy. Like
more in the Steph Carpenter style.
Yeah, Mark Tremonti. That was my guy back in the day.
Yeah.
And Yaz is, that guy that comes in and goes, hey, let's throw a little something more technical in there, So that's cool. And again, we're working on that kind of system, right? To where I can work from home, they can work from where they're at, and then we can share ideas. But yeah, ultimately, I want to get in the room with these guys and get that kind of vibe because, but right now it's finding the drummer. That's the thing, finding a drummer that can commit to that in some shape or form. And then I feel like if they can see the whole thing come alive over a period of time, they're going to be more committed.
Right. Yeah. If they see light at the end of the tunnel, then it's like one thing to commit the time now. But if people, this town is also full of so many like half-baked ideas and half-baked projects, dude. So there's just no way. It's understandably so that every drummer worth their salt is like, yo, where's you paying me?
Yes.
Where's the cash? I'll show up. But
and I used to get pissed about it, but I can't really fault them at that because I mean, as desperately as I am searching myself for a great drummer, because my brother, for example, he's married with 2 kids now, so it's like that's been tough. But I've been begging him, like, oh, Steve, he's the best drummer I've ever seen for this style.
Wow.
Oh my God, he's just unbelievably talented, but. Again, there's the logistics, and I'm at the point, man, where I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to work some extra hours, maybe work another job or something and make sure this dude's taken care of. Because at the end of the day, if you have the product, it's just going to sell itself, right? And that's been, I would say, if anything, we've made a great effort, but if you want to put together a band, like if we were to do it solo, like Al Joseph solo, then it's just like, okay, let me get some musicians to just play this shit, go out and do some clinics or whatever, and build it that way. But we want a band, so it's got to be a band. So that's the standard right now. So I'm at the point where I'm like, all right, man, just, I don't know, do something, do some LA jobs, do something. Get these guys paid, and
you're fighting a good fight, man.
Yeah,
like it's like I said when you first got here, like it's one of the toughest things that anybody does is this like it's one thing to try to have a girlfriend or whatever, but like it's like 3 to 4 to 5 times tougher to do the band thing, because it is if it is the Al Joseph show. Then that's cool, man. Because you tell everybody what the parts are, right? And everybody gets paid the same amount to show up for the same amount of time. Right.
I can switch out guys.
Yeah. Do your homework, man. Just show up and and kill it, because I'm the star of the show, and I really want people to come there to see my playing. Yeah. But when you're going for the band, when you're like, no, we're all on equal footing. We all have equal parts to play. We've all wrote this material together. Yeah. A lot of it in the room together, like you're saying, because that's the big deal. Like if you can get people to commit to that, magic does come out of it. I mean, I sat in multiple Deftones practices and watched them hash things out, and like they're just like, no, go back. And they're like, dang, dang, dang. And I see them grind for like for a half an hour on one thing while one of the dudes figures out their part for it.
Wow.
And they come back. Okay, cool. That sounds good. You know?
Yeah.
I've seen it and I watched it, and I've been there part of it for my own bands too. But like, there's something that happens in that can't quite happen when you're trading tracks back and forth, right?
Yes.
Like, just it's not
it's
quite.
kind, you know, you got guys. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of that vibe of like, okay, what do you want me to play here? What do you want to play there? Well, you can't really do that. Here's the key. It's getting in there with the drummer, like the guitar players, the bass player, maybe the vocalist, keyboard player. Okay, if we write out some drum part or whatever the best we can, then we can work out parts, because for us it's more harmonic than it is anything else. But it's the rhythm. Honestly, like when we get that drummer, that's when I think it's gonna sail. Because what people don't, you know, they say that the best technology is technology you can't even see. It just works, right? It's like there's no. It's like, I mean, I don't know if you're a PC or Mac guy, but it's like if you compare PC to Mac. Yeah. See, so that's the thing about Mac, right? It's like we musicians, producers, engineers, whatever, we use Mac because it just works, not because we want to be fucking around with the RAM and switching this out and that out.
Right.
We just want it to work. So when you get to a show, my greatest fear is the fact that the fans are kind of like, okay, yeah, it's great. And they don't know why. Because, like, look, if they love the band, they don't really know why specifically, you know, technically, like the band knows, like the music. They just know that they love the band. But I know that when we have that drummer, you know, when we have that guy that can, like, really put the sound together, that's when I'm going to be able to dance over the music. You know, that's when they're going to be able to see the energy and all that kind of stuff. So it's no sweat to any of the drummers that have played before, but we're just looking for someone who understands the sound and clicks with it, you know, understands the mission.
And it's going to be inspired to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, drummers, you know, go out to Hyvmine's website with hyvmine.com.
Yeah, hyvmine.com, or just, you know, hit me up on Instagram and
yeah. Let's get this band a drummer.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Hell yeah.
So in the process of, like, well, it's interesting because, like, when I first found you were, I just found you through Jam Track Central.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, this dude's putting out some killer, like, lessons, and I didn't even know you were a singer.
Oh yeah,
And dude, like, I have to say, that's the most exciting part about listening to Hyvmine is like realizing that you're the vocalist. More than 3 times, I forget that you're the guy that's also singing.
That's so fucking. That's crazy. Yeah.
So were you always a singer?
Always.
Really?
Yeah. We were talking before about, like, getting in the band room, like how you were watching Deftones. Like, yeah, my brothers and I. So we were going to Penn State. And all 3 of us were there in this house paying super cheap rent, like 2 floors. We decked that place out, turned it into the studio. And we sat there for months and months and wrote a record together. And so, yeah, I was singing the whole time, like my whole life, like from high school to that point. And then, you know, they just had to go on and do their thing. So Jam Track Central was a move to kind of get more fans to know our band. At the time, we were called The Great Gamble. And for whatever reason, my brothers, they just needed to go do their thing. And I was like, you know what's cool? I just got into Berkeley. I'm going to do that. And then Jam Track Central, I ended up, like, being there. Like, my band went away, and I was at Jam Track Central. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm just going to rock this thing. I always wanted to be that one of the guitar guys, you know? So... yeah, I ended up doing that.
You did that.
Yeah.
You're doing that.
Oh,
yeah. So, like, in the early days, who would you say that, like, you could cite for, like, vocal inspiration?
I mean, there's a lot of, like, I know Creed gets a lot of shit. I love Scott Stapp. Let me see. Who else?
I mean, they're successful.
Yeah, for a reason.
Yeah, for a reason.
Yeah.
And he's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Huge part of it.
Huge part of it.
Yeah.
You know, POD.
Oh yeah.
Of course, like I said, Deftones. You know, Seven Dust. John.
Great band.
Yes. Living Color.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man.
Dude.
So that vibe, 100% in this band for sure. That was my first introduction to metal. Period.
Cool.
Yeah. So. And just a whole lot of other bands. I love Russell Allen. He's like my favorite rock singer of all time, man. Honestly,
Who's
Symphony X.
Oh yeah, that's a great band too.
Yeah,
I
dude.
didn't. I'm not aware of his name.
Yeah,
Russell Allen.
Russell Allen. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, badass dude.
Man, that guitar player in that band is stupid good.
Michael Romeo.
Dude, stupid good.
It makes no sense.
No, that's I don't even want to listen to Symphony X because
right.
That's silliness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. My brother showed me. He showed me Symphony X, and I was like, "Oh, they're just trying to be like Dream." But I listened to them, and I was like, "This is some different shit." Mm-hmm. And then, I do a lot of graphic design, so I put music on. I get on YouTube and just let it go, and I listen to album after album after album of them, and I just like I know all their music now. It's like I'm super impressed with what they've been doing. So yeah. That's how I got into them.
One of the best bands in the prog genre, I think. Like in that kind of, especially
for sure.
Because the singer and the music is almost in my mind almost way easier to come by than having that front person, that singer that can deliver the thing that you're looking
Absolutely.
for, right? And that's also why it's an impressive feat that you're pulling off too. Anytime that somebody is a technical player that's writing music and fronting the band and sounding good. And we enjoy the thing because it's, I don't hate on a lot of people or anything, but Labreeze, I got respect for him. And I think we all at this point that love Dream Theater and love John Petrucci and that thing,
Absolutely.
we all have respect for him, but he's not my favorite person to see play live. He's not my whatever. And there's a few others that aren't great, live, or that great or that interesting, but you pull it off these guys, and it's when you hear somebody that that comes into maybe whether they've been doing a lot longer than or not. I came into Symphony X way late, and I was like, oh, dude, these guys have been doing the thing that a genre that I've been interested in for a long time. Yeah, but they do it as good or better than most of the people out there trying to do it.
It's kind of it snuck up on me because I was just super into Dream Theater. And Labrie, he's got his flavor, and I think he's the only singer for that band. Period.
Sure.
But yeah, it was hearing Symphony X's singer, I was just like, what? And then he's got other stuff too. He's got side projects. I mean, I know he's done stuff with Mike Portnoy, right? He did Winery Dogs or something like that. I think it's Winery Dogs or.
Oh, that's not that singer. No.
No,
that's Richie Kotzen.
No. Okay, yeah. So no. What was the one? I know he did something. Well, anyway, he has Atomic Soul too.
Right.
Cut that out.
It's okay. We'll look it up.
Yeah. But I know he's got this other side project, Atomic Soul, where he's just singing down home, southern metal rock stuff. And that dude, man, his vocals, I wouldn't want to be in a room with him because I feel like I just he'd blow my ears out. You can hear it, you can feel it. That guy's got pipes, man. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to listen to some Symphony X. After this,
complete soul.
Even though I've kind of abandoned it for a little while, but somebody reminded me, I forgot what it was about Michael Romeo just the other day, but well, along the way, I'm curious, what do you do to keep yourself? What do you have any methods to keep yourself healthy and creative and motivated towards doing all this? Or?
Yeah, gym. I've been
lift
seeing your. Yeah, I lift a lot, man. I mean, I haven't been in the gym for the last couple months though, man. It's been tough out here, but I love getting in the gym. Making sure I'm eating healthy foods. Kombucha and all that stuff, beer too.
Sure, it is a food.
Yeah, it's a food.
Yeah.
Meditation for sure. I try. Yeah, because I'm very high strung, man.
That's all good, man.
Yeah.
That's what giving it an effort towards calmness is doing it.
Yeah.
Right. It's easy to feel like we fall short from a lot of these things because our mind is always racing. But just baking in some time for it.
Yeah.
Trying to. That's something that I had to realize a while back that I had to start scheduling in self-care.
Yeah, man, you have to.
You have to. Even if it's just a walk.
Yep.
You got to get up and you got to go for a walk.
Absolutely.
And and oftentimes the thing that you're stuck on clears up in that walk, or if you go to the gym and you do some lifting. For me, it's yoga. It's like learn how to play again. Learn how to like just have fun with like in context to the guitar. Enjoy the instrument, just holding it before you even make a note.
I know. You know, like, man, that's so. Oh man, you're so on it right now because that's the thing. Back in the day, just to hold the guitar. Like, you know what I mean? Just to sit in your lap and just like dream of being fucking James Hetfield, And like you said, earlier you were saying like, you like to stand up and jam. And man, dude, I can't remember the last time I sometimes I do. When I'm going through the Hyvmine stuff by myself, I do stand up. I mean, I have to, but yeah, that was so odd to me, but so right. I was like, man, I don't know if I can do that, but you're right. You're 100% right. It's like you got to stand up and rock out. That's the whole point. And again, what you have to do, a big thing for me was just kind of like letting go of the need to impress other people, really. I mean, and that's not like a fuck you, it's more like dude, I'm at the point in my life where I just realize it doesn't work. It doesn't make me happy. It really doesn't make them happy because you're never going to meet that thing. Whatever they're trying to get, people, we're a social animal. So, there's always going to be someone trying to get something out of you, right? And you're trying to get some things out of other people. So, it's a fine line of learning how to persuade versus like control people, right? And I think the better you are at persuading, the more that's more indicative of like how centered you are, and it's just you got to learn how to navigate life. You've got like you have the responsibility to like to play like a child, and you have the responsibility to like take care of business too. Right. So it's a balance no matter what. I
heard it said, and I probably said it by a few times already on this podcast, but one of my favorite ways of kind of seeing the two sides is that it's like almost sincerity versus seriousness, or instead of like a way to cultivate. To be a responsible adult in the world, you don't have to be so serious about everything, because when you have the mindset of seriousness, you kind of go to war with the thing. You say, okay, I'm going to get serious about my diet. Right. So you're like, everything out there that's trying to get at me and make those donuts, I'm not going to eat them. Right. Yeah. But it's like, because you set yourself up in this weird way, you're like bound to fail. You're bound to like bail off of it. Instead, if you were to approach the same thing, I'm going to get really sincere about eating better. And
that's different.
And that's different. That's
already the weight, you just lifted weight off of it. What I mean?
Energetically feels different.
Yeah.
It feels so different. And I've been, toying with this a lot in my yoga practice, in my life, in how I approach people, and
I can
business.
tell on your social media too. It's sincere.
Well, thank you.
I can tell. I've been watching, dude. And and I can see that. It's like, man, Chris, man, I can hang with this dude. This dude's cool. You know what I mean? You can tell because and again, you have the guy. Do you know who JP Sears is?
Yeah, I love JP Sears.
Yeah, dude, he's so brilliant as to how he kind of makes fun of this whole enlightenment thing, and yet he's enlightened.
He's a perfect example of what we're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's sincere, and he is all the greatest masters, the greatest wisdom that I've ever seen. All have a little twinkle in their eye, and they use humor.
Yes.
He used humor to get the point across.
Right.
Because the serious, like the guy, the sensei or the teacher that would crack the whip on you, is kind of creating a monster in a weird way. They might get what they want out of you,
right?
But you're the type of respect that you have there is really more out of fear.
Yeah.
It's not out of like, hey, look, I'm going to show you, it can be lighter than that.
Right.
And here, this is one way. Hey, funny joke, right? Like, life is crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, it could be like this way, too. Funny joke. All right, cool. Like, it's crazy. Like, this, we're not here for, like, my big thing is we're not here for very long.
Right,
Right?
man.
Like, and even though it feels like a long time, and in our individual lives, there's only a few more moments, and, like...
What is it about people, I wonder... that can see that or like ready to kind of accept that. Because like you have people who say, you know, man, life is short, but they're fucking terrified of that.
Right.
And then you have people, I feel like you and me, who are like, yo, life is short. I'm about to fucking head to the beach.
Yep.
I'm about to just fucking take care of me. You
That's
know?
right.
Like, what is that difference? You know what I mean? I wonder what the catalyst for that mindset is. It's kind of interesting.
Well, fear of annihilation is an interesting thing, right? Like fear of non-existence, fear of non-being, of experiencing nothing.
We basically don't even exist.
Well,
if you think about it, like I'm just saying, like if you think about it throughout time, right? If you think about like how long it took the Earth to even get in that, what do you call it? That what zone are we in right now?
Oh, the habitable zone.
Yeah,
whatever.
The Goldilocks zone.
Yep.
That's billions and billions and billions and billions of fucking years, man.
Right.
Okay, go ahead and like try to wrap your head around like a year. Okay, do that a fucking billion times.
No, we don't.
There's no way.
We don't got it.
Right?
Yeah.
So technically, between now and like infinity, like we're like a blimp, like a blip. We don't exist. So it's like it's that fast. It's a blink of an eye. Like my dad always used to say, like, blink your eyes, man. You're gonna be 30.
Yep.
32, man.
Here you
Birthday
are.
was yesterday.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I can't really recall every second of every day that when I don't really have that. So yeah, dude, it's like, you don't, I just kind of given up on that. And I'm kind of like stepping into, I'm trying to step into like just being happy, man. You know, because at the end of the day, that's all we really have.
I can appreciate that. I think that like the older I've got, I turned 42 last November. I'll be 43 this year, which for whatever, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Like that's what they say, that's how old I am. So I guess I guess I am. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do my best to not suffer as much as I have previously.
Right.
And you know, a bunch of interesting people have come in my life and said, hey, you know, if you set your expectations differently, you might not suffer as much. If you learn to focus on your responsibilities and don't worry about other people's situations so much, you might not suffer as much.
Right.
And if you go for a walk more often, you know,
man.
you know, all these little simple things that people bypass because it's right in front of their face.
Yeah.
Right. Like I forget who says it, but like there's a saying that like the great way always lies before you, like the great possibility of enlightenment, of seeing things exactly as they are.
The bigger picture.
It's right in front of you, but you look right past it 9/10 of the time.
Somehow we do that.
Yeah, because that's too simple.
Right.
That's too simple. It's right here.
Wow.
No. I got to make. You know what? I got to go find the rift that's in 9/7.
Yeah.
You know, I can't settle for this thing that came to me. It's in 4/4. How could that be the answer? Right? Like, how could that be the answer?
Jesus Christ! You know, I've learned to just look at the proof. I mean, Cardi B is like the biggest rapper in the world, and I love Cardi B. By
I
the
do
way.
too, actually.
Yeah, okay, sick.
Yeah.
So, but it's like she's not saying anything. Let's be real here. She's not saying shit. Yes, yet she's in the position of influence to like help people, and she's making that step.
Yeah.
And then you've got people over here who are just like, nah, dude, not till I get my like 9, 7, 8, 4 fucking, major 3, just throwing every chord in a measure, trying to be like the most, crazy guitar player in the world. And it's just like, I'm not saying don't strive toward mastery, because mastery requires growth, man.
But mastery does not necessarily mean complexity.
No.
Right.
That's not what it's about.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So a lot of times the most profound things are the most simple.
Yeah.
And that's what I keep getting at. And I too, man, when my late teens and 20s, I was like, oh man, I want to write the most complex riffs. I want to be in the heaviest band. I want to do the thing because that has been sold to me as tough, as important, and as superior. Mm-hmm. Right. And then,
really what we're after is that simplicity.
Yeah.
We're just not ready for it. So we're putting shit in between us and that.
Right.
that place, right? Because really what you want is like, okay, finally dad's going to fucking get off my ass. Finally, my teachers are going to think I'm smart. Finally, the world's going to accept me. Then I can what? You can just fucking relax, chill, have a good time. You know what I mean? Take care of yourself. Do the things that are actually important. And yeah, it's like what I don't even know what is that thing that makes us think that we've got to put shit before it. I just think it's I think I know. I think it's conditioning. I think it starts with the first spanking, the first timeout, the first all that shit. Not that it's bad. I'm actually all for authority,
sure,
and discipline, but
I think you're on it. I think there I would go and relabel and try to see it through the lens of tension and release, right? Like the world is constantly coming and going, and there's constant tension and constant release, and without some tension, without us getting in our own way a little bit, then we don't ever have the experience of trying to get out of our own way, and get out of the thing that we put ourselves in. So even when we get super aware of like, oh man, okay, now I know I'm not going to get in my way anymore. It's almost at that moment that you think, I'm not going to do it. You're already right back in. You're
already back in the same.
You're already in the same thing. You just can't see it because ego is so tricky, right?
So tricky.
So it's the inevitable tension that's going to build. You're going to, sort one thing out, and as you sort that other thing, another thing arises that you have to sort that out.
Right.
And so try and stop. If we could stop trying to get out of it.
Right. I was just going to say that.
Right?
It's perfect, yeah.
Go through it. Meet it face to face.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
I think there's like, I talk to my buddies about this, and I think, part of being an adult is like, and again, that's kind of ironic I'm even saying that, right? But it's leaving, like, what you don't want in life is to be putting out a whole bunch of fires, but fires are going to come up, and all you got to do, the way I see it in an analogy, is like, leave your sprinklers on then, right? Just leave them on. So in other words, keep a soft, focused sense of attention on the things that you have to take care of, and play at the same time. So that's the tension and release.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, and people think I'm weird because like, they're like, man, that just happened. I'm like, sweet, dude. You know what I mean? Like, now again, don't get me wrong. There's a side to me that's pretty dark, and I'm a very very focused, high-strung dude, and my band has seen the dark side. I get pretty stressed out and but I am aware that the name of the game is to play with those two sides. And I feel like the challenge for me right at this point in my life is to kind of like, the fact that I'm aware of it, and then the fact that I'm dealing with the egoic side of myself, is to kind of like shine that light on these different situations that come up. Because it's so funny, man. It's like you'll know that you need to have this kind of, attention on something, but there's always some fucking like different way someone says something, or like different way a situation arises, and that's the tricky part. Those are the different fires. So you're just like, okay, I just be peaceful with everyone. Okay, now someone's coming and punching you in the face for God knows why.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, you can take a punch. You're okay with that. Cool. Now somebody just burned your house down. You know what I mean? It's like it just keeps coming, So yeah, that's been a challenge for me. It's like different waves of bullshit.
Totally. Yeah. Oh my God, like just moving here. I've been here 4 months or something, and just waves and waves of bullshit.
Yeah, man.
You name it, like roommate bullshit on top of roommate bullshit on top of roommate bullshit. And I'm like so thankful I'm not dealing with that. And
cool.
the people that were causing that trouble have moved, and but like, it just, life is going to test you, and I think that's the thing that we, in a lot of ways, we would love to believe that there's going to be a place that we arrive at where it's all ironed out, right?
Yeah.
We think, okay, we're going to get somewhere, and then I'm not going to deal with this shit anymore.
Right.
But that ain't true.
That's not
That's
true,
not
dude.
life.
Yeah.
Life is wiggly and weird.
Yeah,
okay.
dude.
It's
Yeah.
not. It's not a really perfect architecturally sound building that has everything ironed and cleaned and all the
Yeah.
lines. No, it's wiggly and weird, man.
Yeah.
Like, and it's gonna. The moment you sort out the way that it happened last time, you're like, okay, next time somebody says that, I'm gonna
got
get.
it.
I got it. I'm cool.
Yeah.
Great. Odds of somebody saying it just that way in that context for you to
Yeah.
be able to grab it.
Yeah.
Another time, almost next to none. Right.
You're a microtonal way from being pissed off at the same thing again.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
going to come from a slightly different angle, from a slightly different person that you weren't expecting, and it's going to test your situation again and again and again.
Yeah.
And that's why when you say, that your bandmates and whatnot have seen the aggro side of you, that's a part of the internal tension, though. It's part
Yep.
of reining in and understanding. If we don't see that side of ourselves, if we don't come in contact with that side of ourselves,
Exactly, yeah.
then how are we to ever fully accept ourselves?
Yeah, you have
'Cause
no idea.
That's a whole part of ourselves that most people would prefer to tuck away and not talk about and not get exposed on.
Be perfect. Come off
Yeah,
as
yeah.
a perfect person.
I just want to show you the good stuff, right?
Right,
That's
right.
why social media is what it is,
Oh,
right?
God,
And
yeah.
and at the same time, I don't want to flip the script and show you all the negative shit in my life. I don't want to
Exactly.
spew on you because I'm in the process of learning how to be responsible for myself and
Yeah.
my own situation, right? So okay. I put myself in this situation. I said yes to roommates.
Yep.
How can I alleviate the suffering for everyone? Can I sometimes not engaging the thing helps the thing let itself work itself out in a
Yeah.
way, like sometimes, it's a wisdom of the ages. Yeah. Sometimes you try not engaging, you realize, I should have engaged that. Damn it.
Yeah,
Right?
that's a very good point, man. Yeah.
Either way, or sometimes
Yeah.
you engage something, you think expertly, and you're like, man, I should have left every little bit of this alone.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Right?
That's so crazy.
So
yeah.
we're in
Yeah.
a strange thing. It's not an exact science
Right.
to balance this out. But that's why I love asking people like yourself and other great players that have been out there achieving and writing and working towards these interesting, kind of obscure goals in some ways because they're mental goals more than physical goals.
Yeah.
But your physicality and how you take care of yourself determines the state of your mental in your
Yeah,
spiritual
for
state
sure.
too, right? So
Yeah.
and how you can, navigate crazy bandmates or crazy
Yeah,
roommates
dude.
and all that in
Yeah.
LA.
Yeah, LA as a whole. Yeah, man. That's a lot to think about, actually. And I like having this kind of conversation because man, I've been wanting to talk with you forever, man.
Oh, it's so
I
good
feel-
to have you here,
yeah.
man.
I feel like every time we're at NAMM, I'm just like, man, Chris seems like such a cool dude, but I get it, man. Everybody's fucking flying around.
Same, dude. Same.
Dude, yeah.
You've always had great energy, and I've always wanted to have
Yeah,
more
man.
time with you. So I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad we're doing it.
I appreciate
and
it,
you're not
man.
that far away. That's what we just found out
Dude,
today.
that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said East LA. I was thinking like way over somewhere, and yeah, it was like a 20-minute ride. It's
Nah,
nothing.
it's easy.
That's
easy.
cool, dude. That's cool. Yeah, man. Shit, what else can we talk about?
Well, my other favorite thing to know about is what have you been listening to recently?
Okay.
But also in context, addendum, extra points for players or artists that are maybe not that well known that you could shout out, and we could kind of like lift them up a little bit. It doesn't have to be that way. If you're just listening to Creed all day yesterday, tell me
Yeah.
what you love about the deal. But
Yeah.
I know you could go off about that.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, actually, I've been listening to a lot of pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ariana Grande's got me, man.
Still, oh man, what tune? Yeah,
All of them.
All of them.
I put her on Spotify.
the new
and
record's pretty good, right?
Oh man, the producers, the songwriting team, everything. Jesus Christ, man, that's
Yeah.
some really that's teaching me a lot about our music, which is the hard thing because our music is just like it's balls and hair. It's hairy balls, dude. And that's such clean, today's stuff. So our stuff is just like shit, dude. It's like I appreciate that pop and all that, and I've been listening to a lot of Calvin Harris stuff, and there's a lot of pop, a lot of EDM.
Calvin Harris. I don't know.
Calvin Harris, yeah. I mean, you've definitely heard his music.
Okay.
It's just he's a DJ. like producer EDM guy.
Okay, got it.
So he teams up with a lot of artists. So you definitely
Check him
heard
out.
his stuff.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, that's what I've been listening to lately. Is that yeah.
Ariana Grande and Calvin Harris.
Calvin Harris and who else? You know, Avicii. You know, R.I.P. And just I can't name names now, but I know it. Oh, Tame Impala. You know
Tame Impala's great.
Dude, holy shit,
Yeah.
man. Yeah. Bernhoft.
Bernhoft. I don't know that.
Yeah,
Maybe I do know, but I don't.
German guy, but he sings like soul.
Really?
Oh, he's a beast.
Okay.
Yeah, D'Angelo. It's like
all day
All
long.
day.
D'Angelo is like he's up there with the greats of
Seriously.
the greats. Like and me being a '90s kid, kind of like growing up, like mostly coming of age in the '90s, like D'Angelo, Erykah Badu,
Yeah, man.
and Sade, and like
Yeah,
there's like a
dude.
few of them that are just like super important to me, like that are essential. Like I can put on the whole catalog.
Seriously, like
And
not a
D'Angelo's-
single bad song.
No.
Unreal.
And the last album, that the Black Messiah record,
Oh man,
was it was challenging.
it
actually,
took me getting some used to it.
Okay,
first.
good. Okay, it wasn't just
Yep.
me, guy, because it was a challenge a little bit. I had to go back and reference the other records to kind of like did he always do some stuff like this, or
Yeah.
or was I checked out, or what,
Right.
And I had to go. I had to realize that yes, he has always kind of done some stuff
sure.
like this,
Yeah.
and as far as the mix and how it's presented, and and I did kind of give I mean, like, not that I know D'Angelo, but like I give him some trouble because I guess he worked on that record for a long time.
Oh yeah, that's what I heard too.
But he also wanted wanted to feel like, kind of like we just kind of threw it together.
It threw me off.
And I was like, what is
I was like,
this?
come
you
on,
took
dude.
all this time, and then
Yeah.
there's a couple sentences or a couple of lines you don't even finish,
Yeah.
which now I look back and I kind of like, and
right,
I'm cool
in prayer,
with.
right? Like
Yeah.
that whole cutoff thing. I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
I'm like, what are you doing? But
I know.
You're D'Angelo. You can do that, I guess.
Dude,
you
he's a badass, dude. Like, yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that prayer song, I was just like, shit. All right, now I gotta go get the lyrics, but that's what he does to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Erykah Badu. I was putting on some Lauryn Hill the other day.
That album still stands the test of
Yeah,
time.
yeah. And that's one thing about these artists that I wish they would do. Come out with some more shit, dude.
You got a queen like Erykah Badu.
Yeah, man.
Now she does have a little bit of thing of like showing up late.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
But she does not fuck around.
Okay.
When she shows up and she hits the stage, you are gonna get a Badu performance.
Nice.
And it's gonna be an original scenario that you've seen her before maybe, and you think, nope, it's something different.
Oh wow.
Every time. The band doesn't even know half the time. There's no set list. Like, she's a straight queen, and she's got a band that knows her super well. She steps on stage, and she looks over, and she goes, this song right here is about da 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 and
they
such
just
and such,
know
and they're
the
just
song.
like,
That's
oh
so
shit,
sick.
I guess we're doing this.
Yeah.
And so they just like start working on a version of that, and they just meet in the middle.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. And did you see who was on her guitar player recently?
No.
Dude, Mark Lettieri from Snarky.
No way. Dude.
He was just out in Europe with them, and I'm like, oh man, I'm so pissed that I didn't get to see
Yeah,
that.
wow,
And
wow,
I
wow.
guess the other night he posted, he said, he said, we're gonna do Tyrone, and he's like, oh wait, Mark, you're white. We got to do the rock version. And so,
That's
if there's
funny.
anybody on the planet
Yeah.
that can like
Do a show. Put
change
a show on.
put a show on, and well, if there's any guitar player that can keep up with
Oh,
that,
keep up with that,
Lettieri, Mark is like one of the guys. Like,
Oh, wow.
I've had so many times where when I was bringing out MXR, like new pedals to Snarky Puppy, I'd show up and show Michael
That's
and
so crazy.
Michael and Mark, and they're like, oh cool, you got Bryson. What does that do? Oh, interesting. They plug it in. They're like, oh, yeah. And they just shred something ridiculous on this pedal they've never played before. They had no idea the
No
parameters.
idea what it does.
And they're like, cool, man. Can you leave it here? I'll use it tonight. And I'm like, the first couple times I was like, but you don't even.
You don't know what it does.
Now I do. And I'm like,
That's so cool.
I'm speechless, you guys. Like, like 90% of the people I bring out a new pedal to, they're like, "Oh, that's really cool. I'll try it at sound check, but I got all these things. I'm very specific in my sound, and I can't put in something new because that will mess my brain up." And that's all of us.
Yeah,
that's all those guys. That's not them.
Wow.
It doesn't matter. Like I remember handing a pick to Michael League, and he goes,
"Wow."
He goes, "Oh, I normally play with something a little like this, but I like it. This was one of my picks or whatever, and I had like my logo or something on it." And he was like, "Oh, I like it, man. I'm going to use this tonight though, because you gave it to me." And I was like,
sick.
I was like, who are you?
Yeah. What are you doing?
If you're trying to seduce me, just working.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I love you. You know,
that's
like
awesome.
So it's interesting. But anyway, I digress. Like,
Yeah.
Erykah Badu. Queen of all things except for the things that Sade is queen of, which they have like equal share in my mind of the universe.
Yeah,
but that's just somehow for whatever reason those two do it for me.
That's sick.
Speaking of which, I shouldn't say it too loud, but I'm friends with the bass player of Sade.
Oh, sick.
I back in the early days of my career at Ampeg. It was towards the end of my days at Ampeg.
I didn't know you were at Ampeg.
Yeah, years and years ago. I knew that I was leaving, and it was like one of the last shows that I put out contact. And I was like, "Hey, man, anybody know anybody that plays with Sade?" And Chris, I think it was Chris GC over at Bass Player Magazine, was like, "Oh man, I know Paul. I'll send you the email. Like, he would love to hear from you guys. You know,
sick.
Like, oh, what's up? You know, this is Chris from Ampeg." And I took him out. He's like, "You come out to the show." Like it was the last. Soldier of Love tour, right? It's already been way too long since she's been out. Mm-hmm. And and he says, "Hey, come on out, man." I said, "Oh, cool. I will bring you something as a thank you for like getting me into see my girl, right?"
Yeah.
And I looked in stock, and he kind of already had the amps that he needed. But there was like one Dan Armstrong bass, like the clear lucite old, like reissue. Uh-huh. And I'm like, "Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna write that off and take that down to him."
Oh wow!
And I walk through the door. I'm like, "Hey man, this is for you." He's like, "What?" He's like, "What? This is so fucking Giza Butler, man. Giza Butler fucking played this bass." I'm like, "Yeah. Well, now you play this bass because you're the best. You're like you took care of us." Anyway, we've been emailing recently, and he was just kind of confirming with me this morning. He's like, "Yeah, we're writing new music, hopefully be touring next year if possible. Like,
right.
hit me up. Let's like have you come out to a show." I'm like,
That's
"Oh
crazy.
my god!" So I got like news about like new Sade music today, and I'm just like, "What?
That's crazy.
What?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's nutty." But
damn, man,
life
is cool, man. Life is cool. When you're cool, life is cool.
That's right. And I have to say that somebody also brought this up to me the other day, and it was I was really thankful to hear it again. But instead of trying to be, or if you want to be interesting, be interested. Like, be interested.
Wow.
Like, like be interested in people. Be interested in what their story is, like, because it's a weird trap. It's part of the egoic trap. Like, if you're always like, the way I do it, and, it's what's interesting about me is the things that did you hear about the thing I did yesterday? Like, I mean, we all are me-centered, but it's a degree different. And when you're interested in your friends, and you're interested in your bandmates, and you're interested in how life works, and sharing time and space with people, man, that's already just saying that sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, it's hard to balance that because like I've always been growing up. My dad would tell me this all the time. He's like, "Dude, you'd be 5 years old, you'd be on the subway, and you'd just be sitting next to people like asking them questions about them, And it's like, man, I don't want to say I want to get back to that. I want to say that I want to allow that to happen more, because it's like, dude, you're in your bedroom all the time. That's another thing too, like personally, it's like I've been in my bedroom, the Jam Track Central stuff is cool and the internet stuff is cool and I'm pretty good at it, but it's like, dude, I need to start getting out and like meeting people and kind of letting go of like my my this or my that, anything me kind of vibe, and that's why I like to go out,
Same.
You know what I mean? And that's been tough, man. I've been trying to kind of I get bogged down.
You got a place here. You can always Uber over. Hang. We can jam guitars or
dude, man,
just go for a walk, get some ramen or
even just jamming too.
Yeah.
It's been like it's like for me everything is, again, I've fallen into this space where it's like everything is like, okay, I want to like write it out and like nail it, which is cool.
Right.
But yeah, even just sitting here and jamming. Again, I've been watching your videos and seeing you kind of like being here with people and kind of just letting it rip, dude.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I did that.
It's important. There's that's also part of like it's the musical self-care, right? Like in a sense, like you try to schedule in something that you're not going to be precious about.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, wait a second, because for a guy like you, Al, like you're conditioned to create content on a regular basis, have it all mapped out, know how much of this and how much of there, and how high, how tall, for when and for what and for why. All these, you have to have it all figured out, and then you press post.
Yeah. Right?
Whereas there's another way where we're just like, hey, man, I'm just hanging out. Like, I just got my friend over here. We're just jamming. And I don't know, this little part we just started to like record it because it felt good, and like we're laughing about it.
Yeah.
And it's not going anywhere. I'm not trying to put this on a record or anything. I just like the fact that we capture a little bit of us hanging out right now.
Yeah.
And that's good enough.
Yeah.
Like,
and I don't want to say unfortunately, but unfortunately, as we were talking about before, like, how, we all want to get back to when like metal and rock and roll was awesome, right? When it was awesome. And it's going to take that. It's not going to take the fucking, the next, I don't want to name any names, but it's not going to take the next technical, crazy fucking, it's not going to be that anymore. It's going to be, we were in studio. We just took 8 months. We took our sweet time, and we actually weren't trying to write anything. We were just fucking, like you said, getting back to that. And I feel like, as far as this band is concerned, those are my standards.
Cool.
Right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Given the space for it to organically grow into a real good thing.
Man, it's easy. I mean, like I said, that wasn't to toot my own horn that I can write a song in a day. It was more like, okay, I know like how to like effectively do it.
Sure.
And that's been a problem, right? Because like, it's just, people need something that when they hear it, they're like, yo, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
But you're not going to get that from calculating it out. Or
the formulaic.
Yeah. You're not going to get it that
way.
Well,
I was going to say, it's interesting, today is Dime's birthday.
Oh, wow.
And, thinking about Pantera, right? Think about, there's a lot of emotions that can come up in and around Dime and Pantera for me and for a lot of people. But as you were talking, I was thinking, I mean, that Pantera didn't like get too serious about anything. Yeah. They were always their whole thing was play.
Right.
Like we're having a good time. Mm-hmm. Like they were very sincere about their mission.
Right.
But they were far from being super serious about it.
Exactly.
They didn't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
Right? Like especially Dime. Especially, like the way you look at his home videos and you look at his character. He was always trying to play a joke and like make somebody laugh and like just like kind of lighten the load.
Yeah.
Like
whiskey and party and music.
Seagram 7. Yeah. The whole deal. I think it was 7 and 7. What was it? Is it Seagram's and fuck, I don't know. He was one of his drinks that he he had a black tooth grin. He had a couple different things, but like
yeah.
I don't claim to drink. I'm not a good drinker, so I smoke weed. So
word.
I don't mind a beer. I don't mind drinking, but like I could only hang with those guys when I was super young.
Okay, yeah, of course, yeah, right.
Now I'm a bad drinker now,
dude. I drink, man. I drink, but I mean, I've been working on not getting sloppy.
That's good.
Because I get sloppy sometimes, and then only recently I started to really appreciate weed. I never smoked weed growing up at all, nothing.
Okay.
So,
but you live in Cali now.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking nice. Actually, it's real nice.
Yeah.
And then because if you're I'm very like, I think a million miles ahead, million miles an hour all the time. So to slow down, as we were saying before, has been really hard for me. It's only recently that, I take an edible and I'd be like, oh, this is so nice, dude. Because before it just make me paranoid.
Right. Because you're anticipating all of the things that you're not doing while you're just allowing yourself time and space to relax.
Oh man, it's so important, man. It's like, right now I'm building this online business, and like I want to make more money. I want the band to be able to go do stuff, and I just want the best for everybody. But you resent the here and now, man, because like it's not that. I feel, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not me finally making like, I don't know, bazillion whatever bucks to just go do stuff. It's now. It's like now.
So learn it. So it's a couple things there, right? Like because you alluded to it earlier in the sense that like we always go, oh well, when I finally get X, Y, and Z, I'll be happy, right? Ugh. I'll be happy then. Yeah. Right. We don't.
It's a terrible formula.
We're not. Yeah. It's a terrible formula, right? Because it infers and encourages and produces suffering. Yeah. Like you're gonna suffer. Yeah. So learning to have to want what we have, right? And if we can potentially redirect those thoughts when we catch ourselves in them and say, oh wait, right now, it's like this. Yeah. And be curious about that. Be curious about right now. I mean, it's like this. So if I could just accept that and see what the very next step is from here, from this point. Right. That's a small victory. Yay. I win. Yeah. I win. Yeah. All right. And so does everybody else, because wins. When I'm not suffering, then I'm an easier person to be around. Exactly. If I'm always creating more suffering and putting on top of the other suffering I haven't dealt with, and then stacking it on my friend's suffering and trying to pull it in and deal with theirs too, something that I absolutely can't. I can barely deal with my own. Right. But I'm trying. We find a way to go sideways. I'm like, but I'm trying to help my bro. I'm trying to help my friend. And when we don't, we can't even help ourselves. You try to
justify it. Yeah. By being, who said, I think it was Tony Robbins.
Tony's the man.
Come on, man. Yeah, dude. Yeah. He
OG.
said something. Yeah, man. Yeah. We're addicted to those endorphins and stuff that create, fear, all those like negative energy that what we don't realize is that we're actually pumping that shit into our system. And so, it's just it's a loop where your mind and your body are kind of doing this. And that's where the negativity comes from, right? It's like you think you get attracted to negative thoughts. And he said that there's like this this wave of the spectrum of emotions that you have to fulfill every day. Because it's a fucking drug, man.
That's true.
It's a straight drug.
So I hadn't thought about it that way.
Yeah. So I know for me, it's like, I'm guilty of it. It's like I gotta say something like negative about something or someone that someone did, which they did do. Sure. But I gotta learn to kind of just be like, oh man, whatever. Yeah. It's like what's behind that thing that they did? Us having a beer and being cool and just being happy, and just me kind of, being a better time for everyone else. That's what I gotta like remember. That's what we have to remember. Yeah. To do. So I totally agree with you. And there's success beyond that too. Ironically, when you kind of do nothing, because then it's kind of like, when I was playing sports, they always said, if you want to run faster, let your body do what it's meant to do. Like a telltale sign of somebody who isn't running at their full potential speed is like if they're not completely relaxed in the face. So if you're trying to force those movements, you're at literally like pressing the gas and the brake at the same time instead of letting your body do what it does. Right. So a lot of the time, you got to remember too, it's like that space that you're talking about, right? And that doing nothing and just kind of looking around and kind of like taking it in and just kind of looking at your hand and like you know what I mean? Like we don't even, dude. Have you ever like looked at your hand like at the little like lines?
I smoke
and shit?
a lot of weed.
Yeah,
I've looked at my hand and been like, whoa.
Yeah, dude.
You see the lines in my head.
Dude.
It's like this one goes this way and this one goes that way. Yeah,
Well, it's like, why? It's like, yeah, and yeah, it's so counterintuitive, but like you said, it's like nothing. That's where like the inspiration comes. That's like, oh yeah, I could do this instead, or that. You know what I mean? It's so crazy.
I think a big part of it, at least that I keep uncovering, a big part of it is language, is in how clumsy our language and our label system is kind of for everything.
Oh yeah, man,
right? Because
big time.
Because here we are, like this, all these podcasts and all this talking and all this trying to explain concepts is all pointing at things that that seem to be experiential truth for us.
Yeah,
but you can't you can never fully communicate the experiential truth that you personally experience, right?
Right.
Like you could write all the pages till the end of your life, till the end of next 3 people's lives, and you're not going to get underneath it. You're not going to get at the thing. You get close, you know, but part of what that's part of the rub is like it's hard. It's hard to communicate fully what it is, and we get so wrapped up in abstractions. Our words are abstractions, friends. Like it's powerful. Our words are very powerful. What we choose to say and how we choose to label things.
Yeah, but everything we say means something. But it can mean a million things. Yeah,
it can mean a lot of things. But what your intent behind is how you put on something definitely means something. But at the same time, it's still an abstraction. It's still kind of an ethereal concept, right? It's an ethereal energy, right? So, but you just getting quiet, being still, or just moving into experiential mode, just experiencing, just on the walk, just playing with the dog. It's like I'm not thinking about the 10,000 things right now.
Yeah,
I'm just experiencing like the wind as it passes over my skin.
Right.
That's interesting.
You know what's funny too? Like, the walk with the dog kind of thing. Part of you, like, moving into that space, thinks about that, and it's like, ew. But then when you actually do it, it's like, no, that's not, because like your ego, I feel like, I was just feeling it now when you said it. Because again, I'm very high strung, and I'm thinking about walking the dog. It's like, dude, I got things to do.
Right.
Like that's
not productive.
That's not productive. And it's like the ego is such a crazy thing because like it always labels, as you were saying before. It always wants to. Do you read Eckhart Tolle?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So
totally.
like, yeah. So that whole thing. So like, it always like it labels stuff, and then like I'm starting, like, even recently I'm starting to like realize that if I just do it, man, or like just let go of what that dude said, or just like let go of this or that, it's like, oh yeah, it's not a thing that you do. Like the space you're talking about is not a thing that you have to do. It's just something that you allow to happen. I don't know how to explain it. It's a relaxation.
It's an allowing. Yeah, you're on it.
Yeah.
But see how hard it is to kind of like get at it a little bit?
Totally what you just said.
It's super hard to get at it sometimes.
Right.
And really, the way you would do it is you'd model it and you'd shut the fuck up. And you could do the thing. You would just do it, right?
Yeah.
But we're on radio. We're it's a different vibe. But
right.
It's man. Like we're so conditioned to believe that our productivity equals our worth.
Yeah.
Right.
Man.
So like, what are you putting out right now, Al? Oh, you're not worth a whole lot if you ain't putting out like X amount of this and 2 times the amount of that.
Exactly.
And were you able to keep up with the Joneses on this one too? Because you see so and so got a new custom guitar. When was the last time you got a custom guitar? You start these weird things in your brain, and you're like, wait a second, it's not even about the. Why am I? I've got everything I need.
Yeah.
I just need to like live my life.
Yes.
And let the life inform my art.
That's where I'm at now. I mean, if you were asking about hive mind before, that the mindset, that's where I'm at now. Because I'm hearing a whole lot of that right now, to be honest. And yeah, if you want to, I don't want to say discourage me, but it's like I'm a stubborn mule. You want me to not do anything? go ahead and start comparing what I'm doing to someone else.
Oh, it's the worst.
Dude, I am like,
Same.
I don't give a shit. Like, I just know what I do well, and when I do it at the right time, and just like everybody, like you, me, everyone, that's when the magic really happens. So, yeah, go ahead. Compare me to fucking fuckface number 1 and 2. Dude, I like just wait until I'm ready. You know, that's kind of where I'm at. And again, I'm, in the least egoic way possible. That's the goal right now, because I do want to be effective. I don't want to, again, I'm not trying to scratch anybody else's itch. You know what I mean? And I'm just trying to be patient.
Dude,
right?
that's the name of the game. Man, I really appreciate you coming and visiting and taking this time. Let's hang out a little bit after this if you got the time.
Let's do it.
Players Pick Podcast, Picks and Perspective with Chris Johnson.
This episode of Players Pick Podcast has been brought to you by our good friends at Jim Dunlop Guitar Products, Kiesel Custom Guitars, and Mackie Headphones and Mixers. Sound design by Drew of the Drew, and voiceovers by the amazing Minnie Joe. I've been your guest, Chris Johnson. Until next time.